Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, and welcome back to Language Litigation and Integration Part 204, the 100 subscribers special. Finally did it. Finally cracked 100 subs on the YouTube with paid promotion. But it actually worked pretty well. So if you're new to my channel, again, I did a promotion on one of my highest viewed music video, my cover of Ashes by The Longest Johns. But if you're new to my channel, I hope you stay with me. I do kind of like a current events, talking points type of show as well. These will probably be diminishing, probably phasing out. I mean, this is like the first one I've done in like 2 or 3 weeks on this one. So my channel's pretty much just whatever I do. So hopefully you stay with me. But hundreds of subs special, baby. Over 5.5 years of doing YouTube, basically full time. Again, meaning I don't make any money, but I make content, create content all day long. And so, sure I'll lose some, but it is what it is. And so, speaking of it is what it is, my rights are violated and it's damaging and destroying my property. So if you're not aware, you can look at my channel. I have a From Rhythm to Algorithm series, which is purely scientific and mathematical. I've written a PhD thesis at this point 7 years ago, but it establishes a lot of mathematical proofing and has monetary value, and regardless, failure to publish my paper has destroyed my credentials to get any sort of employment or meaningful job opportunity. So, Article 1, Section 8, Subsection 7 of the United States Constitution gives me a right to my writings and my discoveries, direct language from the Constitution. I've written and discovered a lot. It is proven. It doesn't matter if you don't understand the fundamental theorem of calculus. It's not my job to help you believe in it, right? You don't believe in calculus. You either understand it or you don't. And so, failure to publish my paper has caused me financial damages as well. You know, I own a small bar and restaurant, as well as an alcohol company that I can't get a product for because the FDA is purely incompetent and fraudulent, as well as just being simply able to have notoriety or being able to publish my or advertise my bar and restaurant business properly. So again, I'm literally currently the victim of ongoing criminal activity, but nobody cares. So a lot of talking points today. I don't know how long this one will go. Again, I haven't done this in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, so we'll see how it goes. But hopefully you stay with me, hopefully you stay with my channel. And if you could like and share, subscribe, man, it would help me a bunch. Again, I don't need to be the biggest YouTuber. If I can find a way to make $3,000 a month, then you won't hear from me again. And so, a lot to get through, a lot of very just mundane talking points today. Obviously, just relevant and random stories, but we'll get into it. So the first thing, I've been watching a lot of, I've subscribed and like a lot of these prank channels, but it actually gives me some good, interesting legal talking points just to see the reactions. So a lot of these pranksters, I guess, they don't have credentials in legal interpretation or law. And again, I'm not a barred lawyer, but again, that's simply because my credentials are being restricted. But it does give me some interesting talking points. So the prank dudes or YouTube people that I've been following, and these people look like late teens, early 20s. But I follow the Derf God, Fred Bayer. I follow Gideon. I follow Deidrian something. I follow Loaf as well. And so Fred Bayer had the King Derf had a fake coke prank. I just have white powder. It's not a probable cause to search a bag without consent. So the Fourth Amendment gives you the right to be not subjected to unreasonable searches and seizures. Packaging alone would not be probable cause in any meaningful sense, meaning they take a bunch of cane sugar and wrap it up with like a brick of cocaine. And so, but packaging alone would not be probable cause in any sort of legal diction or understanding that that would be interpreted or enacted through voted on statute. So just the packaging would not equate to probable cause. But I keep hearing these things. They keep saying you're trespassed. Okay, so again, I know it's hard. I know noun verb conjugation is hard for you guys. You keep saying data are, data is, but in the present tense, you would be trespassing if the act is currently going on. You're not trespassed. But literally, you have a private company telling a law enforcement officer these people are being disruptive to business. Again, as long as you're not raising your voice or destroying property, you're pretty good in my book. But if you're disturbing business, that is a problem. But just the verb conjugation of trespassing versus trespassed, they're in the act of trespassing. But hearing these fat cops be like, you're trespassed, it's like my logical brain just short circuits because that's not the right verb. Noun conjugation. But then I have just a couple other points from that. Projection on Loaf's channel for sexual assault. They go to some Renaissance fair, and he basically just walks in front of this lady and is like, it's basically like a kid's ride. It's like the exit ride, and he's like, the prank is just telling him, like, I waited in line for all this time, and it's like the exit of a child's ride, and it doesn't touch her, doesn't do anything, just literally just upsets her because she doesn't know how to behave, and she's upset. And Loaf is a very just like mundane, like very dry-witted guy, which I enjoy. But then a police officer, a security guard comes over, and he's like, so this woman said you sexually assaulted her, and it's just like, rightfully so. They get there in the video. There's like, what are you talking about? He doesn't touch her at all, and certainly doesn't verbally sexually abuse her in any capacity. But it's just you see a person get offended, and then they exaggerate to assert any authority over anybody they can. Again, this stuff has happened to me so prolifically. And again, I don't make prank videos when I'm dealing with the police. It's real legal consequences, and so it's just a great example of seeing people just exaggerate because they get offended, and they're going to exert any authority over you they can, including lying to the police. But the police obviously take her side, and they kick them out, and it's just like, what on earth is going on there? And so, what other points did I have from the? But just filming in general, right? If you they go up into Target or into Walmart, and it's like you're not allowed to film in here without special authorization. And so public servants are always allowed to be filmed regardless if it's private property, meaning law enforcement agents. And so certainly public officer in a public place is certainly allowed to be filmed. Public officer in a private place is certainly allowed to be filmed. And then I definitely think that if there's a concerned citizen, a lot of these people just say, don't stop filming me, stop filming me, stop filming me right off the bat. Really, again, I don't know what the statute laws, but the common law, the right thing to do is if you feel like you were the victim of crime, it would be the right thing to do to film regardless. Now, these people are obviously the antagonizers, but if you're a private citizen on private property, even if you're not allowed to film, if something's going wrong to you, it is absolutely worth it to record anything you can. And if they want to take you to court, then you have the evidence to show exactly what happened. And so, private citizen and private place, if you are private citizen versus private citizen, if you feel like something's going wrong against you, even if you're not allowed to film, I would film and record the data. And so, any other talking points from them? Is it required to provide ID without probable cause, or because a lot of times the cops will show up on scene, they don't know really what's going on, and so they get detained for an investigation. But a lot of the times, like the pranksters will provide fake names or just stuff like that. Again, lying to the cops is illegal. Well, how severe is that? Who knows? But I wasn't clear legally on the requirement to identify yourself without probable cause. And with probable cause, again, I would always cooperate with police. I don't see any reason why not to, unless you're actually doing a bunch of really dumb stuff. Unless you're doing actual real crimes. But in terms of like these prank stuff, I would always provide the identifying information. It does make for good content, but I definitely, and it's hilarious because they had another prank where they go in there, they go into police officers and they confess fake pranks, and Loaf will get like 6 or 7 cops. I watched a video where he confessed that he gave his buddies a hot dog. They have like 6, 7 cops all swarming around him, like, what's going on with this guy? What's going on with this guy? Cops are just so jittery. It is insane. And these people, again, like one of the Loaf's videos, he's kind of like making fun of the, because I think in the one when he gets accused of the sexual assault, the cops are cooler than the security guards, and Loaf is like all of these security guards are the people that failed the police academy. Now I'm pretty sure the most trigger-happy Looney Tunes they get gold stars and first place in police academy. But that was another talking point. What was I going to say? There were some other legal points that I wanted to talk about. Not coming to me right now. If I remember it, I will get back to it. Paul Rubens dies at 70 after privately battling cancer for 6 years. He was the actor for Pee Wee Herman. Again, a little before my time. Obviously, I don't call myself a movie buff because I don't remember a lot of the movies that I watch. But my derivation rate is the anomalistic part of me. I do have an above average memory, but nothing savant level or anything substantial like that. But just point being is I was not really around. I'm aware of the character Pee Wee Herman, but don't really know too much of Paul Rubens' work. Cedar Point announces Top Thrill 2, which launches riders forward and backward. Will debut in 2024. Obviously, it's kind of local to the Midwest, or at least Ohio. Cedar Point had the Top Thrill Dragster, which was one of the bigger roller coasters in the world. Certainly not the top one. At least when it came out, it was kind of like a big thing. But they closed it down, and now they're doing another one where I guess it goes. You get shot up over this thing, you do a twirl, and you get shot back the other way. So it'll kind of be interesting. Don't know if I will ride it. AT&T versus Spectrum internet packages and prices. AT&T, again, I negotiated my, when you sign up for Spectrum, you get, promotional pricing for, 12 months. So I was able to call them and get that promotional pricing again. So I got 500 megabytes, which was really kind of strange to me. It's like, they advertise download speeds. And I have no real understanding as to why, like from an engineering standpoint, why download speeds and upload speeds would be substantially different. But the upload speeds are a lot slower. Again, I don't know if it's because AT&T has a huge network of satellites and whatnot, and I just have one computer. But it's like I have 500 megabytes for download speed, and then it's like 25 megabits per second for upload speed, when really I don't download anything and I upload a lot. So it's like, I want my upload speed to go higher. But regardless, negotiated to it stayed at the same price, so I got faster internet. I did look into AT&T, which is interesting. That's obviously how they generate leads. I was literally on the AT&T website, and it's like, plug in your address to see if it's available in your area. And so sure enough, I do that, and then not 5 hours later, two AT&T door-to-door salespeople come by. So actually, for lead generation on business, it's not like fraudulent or bad. It's just kind of interesting and kind of easy. Because people have to put in their address to see if they can get service, and then who's looking into your products. So I thought that was interesting. I got pitched AT&T, but they just they quoted me like 176. I'm like 140 after tax, everything, for the 500 megabits per second in your standard cable package. But they were able to get it to like 130-ish or something. That was with the 200 megabits or 300 megabit internet package. So I stayed with Spectrum. But it's kind of interesting because now it's like, but the difference, the bonus for AT&T is you also get a DVR. But again, most of all these shows are on streaming. So that is the most mundane talking points of me considering my cable packages. China denies that viral sun bears are human in costumes. They said they have loose skin and standing on hind legs and waving at guests. Believe it or not, sensuality is existent amongst other species as well. And so it's just like, human beings are so selfish and closed-minded, thinking that bears won't imitate behavior. All behavior is mimicked. And I swear, I haven't been on Snapchat in years, but I was around when Snapchat really started getting going, and I swear, I never saw like a dog put its head on its pillow like a human before. And then after, I don't know if it's Snapchat or just me becoming aware of it in general, but I swear dogs definitely learned how to use pillows. And right around the same time, Snapchat was getting big. But certainly all behavior is mimicked and all behavior is learned and transmitted. And so certainly not. They're not Gucci Man clones in bear suits standing up. They're just bears saying hi to the bobes. Taylor Swift distributes 55 million plus in bonuses to people. She distributes 55 million in total bonuses to all people working on her Eras tour. Everyone got something. Congrats to Taylor Swift. That'd be really cool to be a musical artist, as I'm over here begging for $3,000 a month. Again, that I've rightfully earned. It's not like I don't have property. It's not like I want a handout. It's like I want an opportunity. And I'm happy to work I work from home, anything. I would do anything like that. My back is still absolutely horrendously terrible. I need access to healthcare. I can't work a hard manual labor job, and I can't get any sort of meaningful corporate job. I have no arrogance in titles, pay, anything. I just need $3,000 a month somehow, and even working at minimum wage full time really wouldn't get me there. So if I am not paid or given some way to do anything, no publication, no acknowledgement, some way to feel financially stable by the time I'm 30, all of my work that has any sort of historical value will be destroyed. It is my property, return it to me. If it is not returned in my lifetime, destroyed. Period, end of story, I'm done with this stuff. But it would be cool to be a musical artist. I mean, the resonance level of my voice is I did one vocal demonstration. There is not like a popular artist or singer that I cannot demonstrably resonate over in terms of like proper harmony, key, note duration, sustainability, stuff like that. And so if I could just get a little bit of traction on anything. So I do get, I think because I did my promotion on my most viewed music video, and that got me like 130 new subs for like $100. And so again, if I finally have a little bit of money coming in from the bar, I have absolutely no expenditure. If I could just, even if I get to a couple thousand subscribers, you need the watch time. I don't think I'm going to get to that without some sort of help again, another YouTuber, another TikToker, somebody giving me an opportunity. But I'm glad Taylor Swift is allowed to be a musician. If I literally would have done music before doing science, which is, again, amazing. Doing the right thing and contributing to your society actually causes you profound detriment in your life because people just don't change. They simply do not change their behavior. But if I would have done music before science, I would have popped by now for sure. And again, I have 160-ish plus copyrights, give or take 12, 13 albums, 3 or 4 of original content, 3 or 4 of cover songs and composition. So I'm glad Taylor Swift's allowed to live her life while I'm over here making another video about being the victim of crime. Oh, so the other legal talking points from the prank channels that really came up or just popped back up into my head were, again, just competing criminal activity, right? If someone, probably a bad example, but if someone like breaks into your house and then runs away, you're not allowed to shoot them in the back, when frankly, if someone's endangering your life or recently endangered your life, you should be able to respond with equality. But that's a little more exaggerated. But the point being is if someone commits one crime, it doesn't give you the right to commit more crime against them. And so an equitable amount of interaction or return, in being able to defend yourself, being able to sue people for damaging your property, blah, 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 is always acceptable and required by law. But just use an example, Gideon did a prank where he went into, I think this was just uploaded yesterday, but went into it had workers only sign on the door. He had just made it said customers only sign and put it on the door. So he opens there and it's an employee lounge or security office. And again, these underdeveloped people get extremely, extremely offended and aggressive because the slightest thing went awry in their life. They have no idea how to behave like an adult. But then they take his property. And so even if he's trespassing and then you damage his property, you assault him or one of these other people, that is more crime than what they've originally done. So obviously, don't do the bad crimes, but again, just seeing people assault them, the pranksters doing some minor annoying thing or some, trespassing in a store to get assaulted or damaging property is unacceptable as well. And so, because a lot of the times the people, they'll be in the right in the sense that, these people are antagonizing, they're going up to them to different levels of severity. When he said, I don't like the screaming prank, like when Fred Beyer just starts hissing at people, I don't like that. I don't like any just when they go into a library and just start screaming. Even as content consumption, those aren't super good. I like the pranks where it's just novel or just something, just kind of minor, but a lot of different kind of pranks out there, so kind of case by case on the pranks. But it does not give you right to destroy private property, even if it's the pranksters trespassing or just to escalate into more criminal activity such as assault or physical violence or something to that effect. Lizzo is blasted for being a terrible person in addition to being massively overweight. She was literally fat shaming the dancers. Lizzo fat shaming people. I'm just going to leave it at that. If you don't see the irony there, then well, again, more projection, more selfishness, more I'm the boss bitch. Yes, queen, yes. You are a whale. And it was like a month ago, she was offended for being fat shamed, and now she's fat shaming her dancers. It's hypocrisy. Hypocrites, hypocrite. That's what they do. Fritz the Hippo at the Columbus Zoo turns 1 year old. Happy birthday, Fritz Bobs. I typically go to the zoo once a year. I like animals and it's fun. I'm kind of far away. Back when I was in Dublin, it's a lot closer to the zoo. But I might still go in the fall because I typically go in the spring. I'll have a free parking day or a free admission day, and I'll go then. But it's a lot before the summertime. A lot of the animals are out and about. So I might hit a fall time zoo run this year. We'll see. Who the fuck is Bobby Althoff, and why is she the worst podcast host in history? She has 10 videos and about 500,000 subs. She's since grown on me a little bit. Just the first, she came out, again, I'm an absolute YouTube fiend, meaning if you're in any of these avenues where I've tried to create content, I know everybody in the game, even though I'm not allowed to participate with anybody. Nobody will collab with me. But I was just like, where did this chick come from? And at first she was really off-putting because, again, the approach of her interview was just extremely dry humor, and at first I thought she there was no character at all. So it's a dry-witted character, which I actually do enjoy. But at first I was just like, which person's daughter is this one? Like, it's a starter podcast. First guest is Drake, and you have 10 videos and 500,000 subs in like a day. I think she said she's been doing this since April. I've been doing this since, I don't know, again, 2016, 17. So finally my 100 subs special. So I'm sure every time I upload now, I'm sure I'll lose some. But
she's grown on me a little bit. Again, obviously, the next guest is like Mark Cuban, who's literally committing fraud, treason, conspiracy against me. Again, I would literally clean the floors in American Airlines Stadium. I would do any job to get out of Columbus, Ohio, maybe have the potential for a girlfriend and a family, and stable financial income. I would do literally anything. But I've been scapegoated by the entire species, and the people from my hometown community think that I'm a weirdo because I don't like being the victim of crime. So, glad Bobby Alfoff is able to start her career and family. Trying out my K35 Pro Wireless Lavalier microphone. Just my comment to this. I did wear, the people say wear a lavalier lapel microphone. Again, my voice resonant quality, I watch a bunch of my videos, they all sound fine to me. I didn't like it. Again, it was just like $31 off Amazon, so if I could get one of those where you have like this little like receiver packs, the professional ones, I would do that. But again, at 100 subs, again, I'm sitting at 205 right now, but I'm sure I'll fluctuate like anybody else. But I did not like the audio quality from the one I have now, so that's why I've gone back to just the microphone that is on my camcorder. And so I did not like the lavalier quality that I had. Mitch McConnell gets flooded with retire chants at speech after freezing up weeks prior. So we also, Mitch McConnell, just go to the microphone and have absolutely no ability to speak because who knows? Because a bunch of late 80-year-olds running our law and running our government's a great idea. Him and Dianne Feinstein are about to make some scientific breakthroughs and really pioneer, trailblaze a new path forward for a better world for all of us. But Mitch McConnell is an absolute goober. Everyone involved, we'll get to the UFO stuff later, but another fun little story. Again, just there's another generation of edgy 15 to 40-year-olds that don't know how to behave. So I go to my local gas station to get some beer and a Stromboli, and I go to it's a Sbarro inside like a Turkey Hill station, and so I go up there and these Strombolis are already cooked and then they reheat them. And so again, I just typically eat dinner. I just eat one meal a day at dinner, and so I buy the food, and then I'm gonna heat it up later. So I'm like, hey man, can I get a Stromboli? And no need to heat it up. And he gives me this like weird look, and he's a teenager, and it's just edgy teenagers. I couldn't stand them as a teenager, man. People need to learn to behave, and I have never met a single person capable of moral behavior besides myself. You can call that arrogant or not, but there's a track record, and I guarantee you, if you sat down with me and we interacted for a little bit, you would absolutely just, again, play games and come all day is literally the way people behave. And it's just our society is so public or privileged that people can do so, and people are instinctually underdeveloped to the point where they cannot do their jobs, and they're going to get offended at asserting authority over you, as we've discussed literally hundreds, if not thousands upon thousands of times. And so what authority can a 17-year-old assert over me for, again, politely ordering? Again, I don't ever instigate anything. My presence in the residence and my voice scares people. So imagine just, again, learning to sing and now you scare people because you exist. It's intolerable, man. And so I ordered this food, and he literally says, suit yourself. Like I was going to eat cold Stromboli. Again, not in a mean way, but I was just like, hey man, maybe be a little more professional. Might help you out in your career a little bit, man. Because again, I'm going to go home and eat it. Why would I heat it up and then go freeze it again and then heat it up again? And he's like, well, I didn't hear that. And it's like, well, you didn't listen. Because people, again, it's amazing. Because everyone has the capacity for language and like understanding, again, the art example. Everyone can understand a piece of art, like looking at a picture. Everyone can listen to a song. But then you drive language. And people kind of have the capacity, but they don't. They mess it up every single time. And so then when you're an edgy teenager, you just jump to the conclusion that you think they're going to say, and people literally just don't sit down and listen to what the words coming out of your mouth are. And so, again, obviously every 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, I have to go through something minor, major, or medium and major. Without fail, every single day, I'm going to be 30 in less than a month. It has never stopped. It has never gotten better. It has never improved. People stagnate. They do not grow up. They do not know how to behave. The instant they get offended, they assert any authority over you that they can. And so I just want my money to buy a nice country estate and not have to deal with your trashy, lazy fucking kids. The vast majority of people should not have children because they do not know how to behave. And we need it we need to scorch the earth, man. We need real change. Whatever changes the world the fastest for the bet is the right thing to do, seriously and legitimately. Because it's not like we're sitting around here, our society's functioning. Not prescribing cannabis kills children, kills adults, is the biggest health problem, biggest health mishap, or again, fraud, again, restriction of scientific information that would affect healthcare is treason. It just is. And you guys aren't competent to comment on anything in science. I prove things. This isn't me conjecturing. This is a proof. You guys are privileged. You don't know how to do science. You went to Harvard, and now you're Andrew Huberman, and you're still a part of a species. You're still an individual. You're still going to form identity, which you won't let me do, because you guys aren't actually professionals or competent, and you're going to revert back to defaults. That is what happens. If a bear gets scared in the wood, it's going to maul you. If a human being gets scared, it's going to run away like a little bitch. Or it might resort to violence, but it's not going to go generate more competency. And so, good stuff there. Tory Lane sentenced to 10 years in prison for shooting Megan Thee Stallion. I believe it was in the foot. Covered that a little bit before. Cool. I do like some action sports channels on YouTube that I definitely want to shout out. I think it's definitely high quality content. I follow 00 Nation with Truls Trope and Kim something. Some Norwegian doing the Dutson. But just death diving, just cliff diving, which is always an interest of mine. Certainly, if my back was better, again, I'd probably Dutz a 10 meter. I'd send a 10. I'd send it. But I also like the Sickos. There's another kind of just like action sports channel. Wizzy Gang, which is a bunch of French people, which they do mostly cliff jumping as well as Tanner Braungart, which I thought he did, again, kind of mix between parkour, trampolining, and just more action type of sports as well. Just want to give them the shout out. I thought those channels were cool. Utah man killed by the FBI for threatening to kill Joe Biden and other politicians. He was a 75-year-old male. His name was Craig Robertson in Provo, Utah. I guess he was just, posting a bunch of things on social media, either innuendo or directly calling for death. Again, I am not promoting violence to any capacity. I'm not threatening anybody to any capacity. I'm a lawyer and a judge whose credentials have been fraudulently devalued. Regardless of that, there is just the law, which is common law, and then there's statute law on top of that. And anybody that's committed treason, the only reasonable common law response to that is capital punishment. So I always got to make that clear because, again, if Ron DeSantis goes up on the podium and says, let's start slitting throats, which he did do, well, see, he's on the right side. He's on the right side of the cult. He's the politician. He's the illiterate person that a bunch of random people said Republican and just dropped their name in a ballot and had no idea about his values or anything because he doesn't have any. He's an absolute idiot. But Ron DeSantis can say he's going to slit throats, but we don't arrest him because, well, you have to play the game, and there's winners and losers, and we can't actually do the right things, and then we couldn't win anymore. Oh no! And then we couldn't win! Then we're going to tell our kids to go play sports, and it teaches you to socialize proper in a team setting when it really just facilitates people. Again, if you self-classify, if you've ever said in your life, I'm a competitive person, you will demonstrate every one of these shitty behaviors that I've been documenting for years that has destroyed my life and destroyed the progress of the human species. So, yeah, sports are real good things. Ecuadorian presidential candidate assassinated while getting into a car. Didn't really look into more of it. Saw a video on Reddit. Saw it reported on the major news, so it seemed to be legit. But didn't really look into anything past that. So I'm trying out my YouTube's promotion campaigns. Again, they just have you can just advertise a specific video, which worked well for me. Again, it says if I spend $100, I get a $100 credit, so I'm going to see how to get that fired up. But it took me from 69 subscribers literally, or 71 to 205 right now. So definitely worth it in my opinion. But again, I'm about done with YouTube. At least until it gets something going, man. It's just my life is just exhausting. It's absolutely exhausting to do this all the time. Nearly 100 confirmed dead in Maui wildfire, and the search continues. Seems to be the most prolific natural disaster that caused fatalities in a while, or at least, I guess, in the continental United States. So that stinks for that. Ron DeSantis says he has moved on from his war with Disney and to drop the lawsuit against him. I don't think that's how lawsuits work, Governor DeSantis. Again, you want to be the wokest, coolest dude on the planet, and you're going to blurt out all the insecurities of your group. Your group is actually just a bunch of selfless individuals, like any gang, and once it starts affecting them personally, they're going to turn into rats, they're going to snitch, they're going to defend themselves. There's no honor amongst thieves. And now Ron DeSantis is just a privileged, absolute idiot. And so, that's what's going on there. Absolutely do not drop the lawsuit against him. Sue him for every financial damage that he caused. Again, saying LGBT does not exist or isn't real is absolutely biologically incorrect. And so now we have to use our political power to assert any authority over people we can, and then it backfires, and then you don't keep the foot on their neck and don't take it off. Michael Orr calls bullshit on the Tuohys with conservatorship and not paying him fairly, and the Tuohys respond saying he tried to shake him down for $15 million. And so, obviously kind of stinkies to hear that, because The Blind Side, I thoroughly enjoyed that movie. Sandra Bullock in that movie could sit all over my face. But just for pure cinematic entertainment values, that I did enjoy the movie. But not going to cast judgment one way or the other, because it could just be either one of them could be in the right or the wrong for this one. But kind of a bummer to see, because I thoroughly enjoyed the movie, and Sandra Bullock was absolutely really nice in that movie. So moving on to some stories, a little bit of the aliens, and obviously some quotes and some clips from trying to contact law enforcement. And so, I guess we'll do some of the alien stuff. Again, I have been in personal direct contact and to a level of awareness since I've been a child, for real. I haven't been in any contact with anything exotic, but certainly the ones that look exactly like us or can pass as humans all of the time. And so, but I'm obviously not allowed into the cool clubs, even if it's the Stephen Greer. I watched his Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, and believe it or not, even again, as someone has regular contact. Can't say for sure I've been on a ship, but I'm very certain I have been. I've had this stuff confirmed to me in person so many times. Again, they've literally confirmed to me in person. There was, again, over how much time I'm not sure, but there was 2 major species here that either had some business here or spent some time here. So at least 2. Again, it's confirmed to me in person, unsolicited, and so. Andrew Schultz posted a video on August 1st, 2023, saying that UAP and alien hearings are total bullshit, which is just hilarious. Because when the Department of Defense comes out in 2017 and says these UFOs are UFOs, and people think they could be anything else. Like, my rock isn't going to start randomly flying, and so you guys are idiots. Again, you have normal spaceships, the ones with the scale-looking things on them, those are from the ocean. Most of the typical spheres that, your stereotypical spaceship, those are pretty much from space. The biggest ones typically come in big, like V shapes, like the Phoenix Light ones or boomerang things. Those are the big ones. You can also have passenger ships that are just kind of those big ovals. But at this point, again, Andrew Schultz, you have no capacity to assess the validity of absolutely anything, and you're a YouTuber, and you're restricting, again, you guys do sit around looking for guests to come on your show that would provide interesting content. And so, forget the aliens, not allowing me to speak about science is the part where, again, treason, as many cases as I can, fraud, racketeering, conspiracy, as many cases as I can. If you are aware of my work, wherever 2 or more gather, you're in the presence of conspiracy, if you are committing a crime. And so you guys are all in on it. It is absolutely true. But Andrew Schultz saying there are no evidence, and it would be there is no evidence, but there is. It is everywhere. It is proven. It's our disclosure has already happened. People just can't accept it. But again, just some quotes that I've covered these a bunch, but I've personally drove in a non-human language. Again, the Bulgarian chick from my Grafton Park apartment literally comes over to me. Again, there's a 3-story apartment on the bottom floor, a little walkway, and then another apartment with a little deck or a little porch, 30 yards away. These people have been directly interacting with me for, again, at this point, going over 3 years now-ish. And so, she comes over to me and just starts speaking in a tongue that, again, is not human. And so I'm able to instantly derive, and she literally switches her head, meaning I can tell that she's listened to the vocal audio recordings of these different species, or at least some of them, and had access to that, and I'm able to instantly start deriving off of I derive with sound. I mean, that is the part that is prodigious about me. And so I've personally drove in alien languages. I've been visited. I have been in personal contact for many, many years. But again, then there was, confirmed that there was 2. Then the proof that my intuition extends past what's proven history, which isn't surprising considering, right, how many things have happened in history. And I mean everything. Who in the 1800s from Boston, Massachusetts dated Susie, right? That's an objective fact that happened in history. Who knows, right? So I can't even formulate questions. There's no way to know everything or prove everything. And so the dude that literally says we can do basically whatever we want, who's part of this international conglomeration of just scientists, researchers, military people that deal with all of these things that work outside of any structured constitution or law. But he says I'm going to look into that. And I think when I was talking about looking into the rocks, into the ice, and so that's just again more proof that my intuition still provides novel insight to things that you guys have. Again, I am shooting in the dark in comparison to what these intelligence officials have. Again, you have no rights and no. This is my discovery. This is the most prolific discovery in human history. You guys won't even let me in on the game. I don't even care. At this point, it's just like, okay, you guys are gonna be the freaky fucking weird shows forever. And even again, there's CIA people in every sort of major publication. There was no way for me to get into this world. And I'm like, okay, I get you guys are fucking bullies. You guys are gangsters. You are losers. You're conspirators. You're treasonous. But can I at least get a fucking paycheck? Please. I'll say anything you want. I'll take down anything you want. At this point, I don't care, man. People will never change their behavior. Human beings are a disgrace. And so, again, confirmed there was at least 2 species here. Commenting on Stephen Greer's video, he starts talking about things like interdimensionality, extremely not a word, stop saying it, doesn't count, doesn't happen, I don't need a single alien to tell me about physics, no I do not, I don't care, blah blah blah. You have some material that we can't forge this close to Earth, cool. Besides that, you don't need to teach me anything about physics. And so, but then he starts talking about, again, I think ESP, is that supposed to also be telepathy, teleportation does not exist. There are certainly live individuals that are non-human here in the flesh. There are certainly biologics, was what you guys would call them, but just avatar kind of things that are remotely controlled, but are absolutely controlled by real things. And then projection, right? When you say you see a light being or a thing, it's an actual hologram. Like you see in the movies where it's like you hit a projecting screen, it's like they're not actually physically there, but it's just projected. It is literally projection through vibration at a distance. It's exactly what that is. It's not a light being. It's just a typical hologram presentation. And so you can't be in 2 places at one time. Electrons can't occupy the same space. And so just because you guys don't understand the standard physics that have already been established, you can't break the laws of physics. That doesn't happen. You just misdescribe them. And so those are the 3 types of individuals, a whole fleet of different types of flying and submersible things. But when Stephen Greer starts talking about the experiences, or even when you guys, like Sean Carroll starts talking about physics, unfortunately Sean Carroll does present physics well, but he is committing treason. He has not disclosed scientific information, and he tweeted in May 17th of 2017, be patient with new ideas, but he started his YouTube channel, he's got 3 new jobs, he gets a paycheck every 2 weeks, and he's just too arrogant and too delusional to actually speak on actual proven physics. So just to see you guys, good it is in science, how many conferences that I have rightfully earned to be invited to. I want to do something with my life, and I can't because people can't change their behavior. And so, any other terms from Stephen Greer, again, teleportation doesn't exist, telepathy really doesn't exist. Like I've never heard, when they talk about they imported a thought into my brain. I've never heard a voice in my brain. I have personal physical proof that when they're close enough to you, they can hear you. It's not reading your brain. Infinite biological uniqueness is an axiom I've personally proven. That's why we are different individuals, is so we can go explore and make memories about the world and experience and map the geography and the emotional state of everything. And so telepathy doesn't really exist, but again, registering in the same way. The CIA people have drones that can zoom in really close and listen to your audio or whatever. It's the same type of thing, just with biological organisms. And so any other terms that really threw me? Teleportation doesn't exist. Telepathy kind of. I can't think of any. But they kind of like dematerializing in 2 places at once, just absolute nonsense. Absolute. I can't listen to Stephen Greer talk about these experiences. It just. Not like it offends me, but again, insecurity, I don't process insecurity. If you say something that isn't in accordance with physical law, it doesn't. 1 + square equals 2, 3 transdimensional quasars. What? And then I did watch there was just a clip of some army soldier talking about the 3 different types of species. Again, there has to be at least 3. There was a big war between 2 of them. I do have intuition of that. But what was I going to say? Because again, another quote that has been directly validated to me, you have no idea what truce you just negotiated, and that's either between human and human about this data in general, human to non-human about some sort of collaboration, but I see that as just unlikely. Again, I could be dead ass wrong, but then there's just a spectrum of life, man. So, what was I going to say? Oh, the army soldier talking about the 3 different species. Again, I'm intuitively aware of closer to 70. There's certainly ones, again, I haven't seen anything personally exotic. I've certainly seen individuals that are anatomically very similar to us. And so, he talks about this big war between the two, and again, I've personally had some sort of validation of negotiating a truce. They literally said to me in person, you don't have any idea what truce you just negotiated. And I don't care, man. I'm a mama bear in the fucking woods. If you scare my cub, I don't care if you're aliens from Andromeda, I'm gonna rip your throat out. And so any individual that has first, on a personal level, endangered my life, lied about science, I hate you. And 2, again, as a lawman, you've committed treason. And so there's no, when people tell me to be nice, I'm not going to be nice about any of this stuff. You guys have committed the most prolific crime in history. And so, can't exactly nail on the specifics because the bunch of cranked off military dudes that just suck the right dicks for long enough, they get more personal validation in their life about my life than I do about me. They personally get more validation about my life than I do personally. Right? So I don't feel like I'm a mathematician, I don't feel like I'm a scientist, I feel like I'm a struggling YouTuber here with 200 subscribers. And so, I want in the game so bad. People have destroyed my entire life, and again, if I lived to 120, which is pretty much the maximum you could live, which I'm certainly not going to, you guys have taken 25% of my life for real. Just because you guys can't change your behavior. It's probably more mature than all of us. I definitely am. The intelligence community leaks David Grush's mental health records to discredit/cause doubt. There's an article, I guess, by the Intercept, I think it was. But I guess his wife called police after a mental breakdown, went to the hospital for depression, anxiety, and PTSD. Again, you can, again, the intelligence community, you can go through any text message, anything I have ever sent or communicated anywhere. I've never actually been like sad, suicidal ideation. You have to talk to people and their broken ontology that they understand. And so, again, just I viscerally cringe at when people say, I have mental health problems. It's like, you're pathetic. It is what it is. It is true. You can get offended. You don't know how to behave. And the people that do know how to behave like me, when it's right to get upset, any normal human being, when their entire life gets defrauded from them and stolen from them, the normal reaction is to be a little bit angry. When I get angry, people call me a threat, and then I get swatted. And so, I have no tolerance for people. If you have grown up, you cannot break down. You have not been through more trauma than me. It doesn't exist. There was no more psychological trauma than never being able to form an identity, because people will not acknowledge that you exist to any capacity at all. It is profound and prolific torture. Nobody cares. And so, but to discredit him, David Grush, again, is not a... Again, I focus on the physics and the credentials. People say, he was a top-tier military leader. I don't care about convincing anybody of anything at any point in time. I just want my money. That is the only reason I engage in these subjects whatsoever. And because, again, on a personal level, I have way more intuition than any of you guys. And so, obviously, it's all completely true. It's absolutely true. But David Grush is not a major player in this game of disclosure. I am the premier player, and people simply will not acknowledge that I exist, because once I get into the human sentiment, they will be my proofs will remain forever. But for real and legitimate. And so, I think that is it for the alien stuff. A couple more points are just quick stories. Again, I'm going to throw up, there's like 3 clips of trying to report crime. The FBI will now, I can call the FBI, and for the first 3 months, they would pick up and go, I hate when you guys even try to play the game. I'm like, are you trying to report a crime? Yep, I've been trying to report crime for 7 years, and I'm not trying to report crime. Crime is occurring, and you guys just don't do anything. And so that's another thing from like the prank videos. Again, when the loaf is getting out there, 6 cops swarm around you for trying to thing. They just get offended, like, what's going on, what's going on, what's going on, what's going on? And then you try to report a real crime. Again, forgetting loaf, I try to report a real crime, and there's absolutely no capacity for anybody to do anything. Besides mock you and assert any authority over you. Again, the FBI operator threatened to swat me. She's like, you want me to call the cops? I want you to do your job. But again, these people are groomed to be the most laziest, selfish, incompetent, easily threatened people on the planet Earth. And I'm over here getting defrauded out of my entire life's work from 15 different careers, and all I want is $3 grand a month that I've rightfully earned. Or still a time frame to manage the money that I have today. And the financial stress that I have would go away forever. Right? People say, you get to moments in life where they know their life will never be the same. I can't imagine a point in the world where I can go to the grocery store, buy the food and food and supplies I need and want without not even caring what the price is. And again, I'm not a lavish spender to any capacity. Be able to pay my bills, be able to have the access to go to the doctor, be able to access to go to court, and to have a girlfriend. Excuse my language, have a beautiful woman in my bed. It's not possible to occur because you guys won't let me get into the game. And so, again, sex is a normal thing. I like women, and I can't eat properly. If I could just have a girl, if I could just have fuck, excuse my language, if I could just fuck, I would be able to eat my dinner properly. I can't eat food because you guys are socially isolated me so profoundly. And then Cassandra Schaefer from the OSU PD, which how she's still on the force is beyond me. Doesn't matter, I'll handle it when I have authority. And says, are you using the resources that are available to you? Again, like this broken, like, do you need to call the I'm sad hotline? I have never been sad. I'm more mature than you. I'm more disciplined than you. When Officer Robbins charges me on my driveway and I don't even move, my heart rate doesn't change at all. I think I'm a little more used to stressful scenarios than you people are. But we have to blame Brad. And so, again, I've been pretty much entirely blocked by the FBI, which again is completely illegal. But again, they've admitted guilt inadvertently to knowing who I am. The one guy who said, "Don't you have anything better to do?" Like, I am being tortured. I cannot eat properly. I cannot sleep properly. I cannot manage my basic biological functions because of criminal activity. And you guys are so privileged because of the science that you've gossiped behind my back. I've received no benefit in terms of financials or just identity. Like, I don't feel like a mathematician, I don't feel like a musician, I don't feel like a scientist, I don't feel like a lawyer, I don't feel like a judge. I am all of those things. And people like get perturbed because they won't do their job, because their gangster bosses are telling them if they do their job, they're going to go to jail. And we're here guaranteeing you capital punishment for treason. So you guys are stuck between a rock and a hard place, and you're pussies, you're cowards, you're losers. And so, again, I will deal with the entirety of the Columbus, Ohio FBI. If you work for them, whether you're a dispatcher or an agent, as well as in Cincinnati, you guys have facilitated the most prolific crime in human history, and you happen to be in the jurisdiction where I am at. So, fuck you. Also, again, a continued shout out to Gary Lewis Jr., the Chief of Police of Bexley County, Ohio, and that has the jurisdiction. So, again, kind of like the final story. So I called Bexley, again, to report crime. Again, some dispatcher, 57 dispatcher Holly, which I'm almost certain she's an overweight African-American woman, but can she take, but immediately, again, I'm not raising my voice, I'm not drunk, I'm not intoxicated, I am trying to report crime. So the conversation effectively goes to something like this. I call in there and she's like, how can I help you? And I'm like, I'm trying to report crime against the Chief of Police, Gary Lewis Jr., who's facilitating distribution of intellectual property in his district, which he is. And immediately she's like, this is probably, Capitol Police has their own police force. The distribution of my intellectual property is so prolific, it affects everything. And so it absolutely is being distributed with the willful knowledge. Again, I knew Nathaniel Lewis personally. Reached out to him personally. He got offended because he's a little bitch and his family's a bunch of fucking cowards. And so, but they have a legal obligation to do something. And so the chick is literally like, so then she starts going in without any cursing, without any denigration from my end to her. And then she starts saying stuff like, where are you? Where are you? Like, again, like she's going, like, I'm a threat. And again, I am trying to report crime. You don't need to know my physical location for the theft of intellectual property. And so I give you my real name, I'll give you my real address. But you can just viscerally sense they are feeling threatened, they are feeling intimidated, and I tell her she's not doing her job, she shrieks, she's actually not doing her job. You can't state facts to pathetic people. You just can't. And so then she was like, this sounds like a civil matter. Okay, so treason is a civil matter. Racketeering to the tune again. If I say I'm defrauded out of millions of dollars, people will just shut down. I'm defrauded out of trillions. Facts. And so fraud into the 7, 8, 9 figure range is civil. If I walk in and steal $1,000 from Home Depot, I go to jail today. If you walk and steal my lectures off the internet or off my hard drive, You guys never have faced any consequences whatsoever. And again, there's people that know what's going on, but then I turn on any TV show, and again, people who even know or are aware of my work to some extent will still go into denial in dealing with me personally. And I just hate that process. It has been every interaction I've had hundreds of thousands of times. I've never been treated with decency or respect at any point in my life. It is the most degrading and disgusting fucking human existence possible. And so, when she said it's a civil matter, and then again, you can tell she's raising she's emotionally escalating the tension and tone of the conversation. And I was just like, okay, then sorry if I'm trying to report crime. But she was literally like, you hear her voice like cracking. It's like, well then Gary Lewis Jr. will respond in court. The courts are rigged, man. I don't have access to court. I filed a lawsuit that's completely legitimate, and they just lied. I have a personal signed letter from a judge that says he can't help me with direct fraud going on. It's right here. It is what. But in the conversation, she was like, what intellectual property? And I say, have you ever heard of the phrase? It is what it is. And then she's getting angry. Now she's getting upset. Like, of course, yeah, I'm a dispatcher at the Bexley County fuck all police department, and I have no idea who's calling, but I'm going to be condescending to her. I'm actually the highest accomplished scientist ever, and so I have to try to describe 30 years of derivation in like 2 seconds to someone who's never passed 8th grade algebra. And so I say, it is what it is, and she was like, and then she gets condescending and mocks me, and she's like, I'm trying to ask you simple questions. And I'm giving you simple and legal and correct responses, but it offends you. You speak facts around a pathetic person, and they shut down. It has ruined my life. My life is ruined today. My back is fucked. My ear still hurts. I can't exercise properly. I can't eat properly. I can't pay my bills. I have no social support, the ability to report crime, the ability to access court, the ability to go to school, the ability to socialize, the ability to make friends, the ability to have a girlfriend, the ability to be respected by my parents' family doesn't exist. And so I'm sorry I offended you, 57 dispatcher Holly of the Bexley Police Department, but you've engaged in gross negligence and refusing a direct and lawful order from someone who the only reason doesn't say in Brad we trust on the fucking courts is because you guys lie. So that is it for today. Not sure how long this one will go, probably 45 minutes to an hour. But again, as always, my name is Bradley Bowes. I'm being profoundly and extensively tortured. There was nothing I can do, there was nowhere I can go, and there was no one I can call. I will be tortured until the day that I die. From the local news anchor Christine Barconi, and I'm absolutely going to ruin your life, to the presidents of world governments, I'm going to ruin your lives. Because I've ruined mine, you've broken the law, you've committed treason, and you facilitate death and suffering everywhere. One human being needs to have the maturity and decency to behave like a grown adult. One. Disseminate some information, let me live my life, and just be a decent person for the first time in your life. So thank you for watching. Again, if you're at this point in the video, these ones are really going to trickle down to maybe once every 2 weeks or once a month, because yeah, I really wanted to get to 1,000 videos. This is my 941st video, so after that my YouTube will probably slow down quite a bit because it's not going to go anywhere until somebody helps me. And would anybody ever help Brad? As my mother once said, who would even want to help you? As I suffer all day. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.
Hello everybody. So I just recorded like a 45-second clip. The feds cut off my computer, and the local police are lying, cheating, and stealing. And so once again, I'm going to try to report crime. I just had probably a 4-minute phone call with a dispatch operator. She has absolutely no legal training. She does not know the law. She says, what property is being stolen? And then I say, it is what it is. Have you ever heard that phrase? And she says, I'm asking you simple questions. And I'm trying to answer simply. I have millions of mathematical theorems. People can't do one. And so then I'm just a weirdo. So, again, the Bexley police won't even pick up. The FBI won't pick up. You guys are in direct violation of the United States Constitution. See if I'm allowed to report crime. See, so now they're automatically blocking any phone call that I'm trying to report crime. So at this point, I'm not even allowed to report crime in the United States of America. To people that I know personally. And so they will lie, they will cheat, they will steal. Let's give a phone call to the FBI, and you'll watch what happens now. At this point, I will get I'll get transferred 2 or 3 times, and then they will automatically disconnect me for trying to report crime. See again. 513-421-4310 is the phone number for the FBI. Cincinnati, because of COVID. You're not allowed to go into buildings because you're not allowed to report crime. And so they might pick up now because I'm recording it. But I almost certainly will get redirected and say, you cannot complete this as dialed. That is the direct number to the FBI. So again, once again, as documented proof, if you try to report crime to the FBI, they will just lie, cheat, and steal. If you try to report crime to the local cops, and I just got off of a 3-minute phone call with a dispatcher who is not educated in physics, mathematics, science, law, anything. She has a job, and then she says, again, she gets arrogant, she raises her voice, she says she's not denying crime. And I say, they're distributing intellectual property. And she says, what property? And then I say, it is what it is. That is the general solution of all mathematical forms. It's true. But then people have the education level of third. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Language Litigation Integration. I just want to give you guys an example of a phone call. Again, I know Gary Lewis Jr., the first or the third sons personally, but this is a person that I know his son personally, that I went to school with personally, that I was very good friends with his best friend personally, and he's the chief of police. And so Article 1, Section 8, Subsection 70 of the United States Constitution is directly violated. My intellectual property is being stolen, and the unabashed real fact is people are so illiterate, if you try to give them a simple answer, they will just project onto you and call you a threat. So I want to show you guys this in person. This is somebody I have direct personal contact to. And all I'm going to do is try to report crime. And let's see how it goes.
Sorry, I missed your call. Please leave a message and I...
Grab clip. Not allowed to report crime. Let's call Bexley again. I love the error.
Sorry, I missed your call.
See, they just
Please
hang up.
leave a message and I...
It's not going to do anything. Let's leave a message.
Sorry, I missed your
Let's
call.
leave a message. Recording?
Please leave
Yeah, I
a
am recording.
message
Good.
And I will return your call.
Hello, Bexley Police. I try to report crime. Your chief of police is distributing my intellectual property. You guys seem to call me a threat. I'm literally just trying to report crime. And then your officer manager said, I'm asking you simple questions. It is what it is literally the form of all language. And that is the proof of my mathematics, which is being distributed through Capital University. And so that is worth millions of dollars. Capital University employs people, and it has destroyed my income potential. Oh, they already hung up. They literally hung up. So I think I am recording good, should be. But I'm literally trying to report crime, but people just call me a threat because I teach them things within a sentence. So somehow that makes me a threat for trying to live my life on a planet where people said, go to school and do math and science all day. Then you go to school and do math and science all day and say, oh, that's scary. That's big scary. That's big scary. And so, again, I've lost 7 years of income because of this. And somehow I'm a threat for trying to report crime, but my presence intimidates people because I'm a real person. And I wore my secret black camouflage for the secret team. And yeah, that's what happens when you try to report crime. So, freedom in America. Thank you for your service, Gary Lewis Jr. I appreciate it, brother.